it? Was I just muted then?
Yeah, you was muted, bro.
All right, restarting.
Well, I never know if it's just me, and it's very scary. Go on.
Anyway, what's going on, everybody? We're back again. A little technical difficulty at the start, but we move. We're going to power through it. Another Rest Purist live stream hosted by myself, Big AO, Joe Hulbert, and of course Charlie. Today we're going to be covering, just the latest stuff that's been going on in wrestling, and we're going to be previewing Dynamite, which is about to start in about just over an hour or so. So, first things first, please like, subscribe, super chat, always appreciated. Hope everyone's doing good. Starting with my fellow co-host, Big AO, how are you doing today?
Feeling good, man. Today is the day that one of my favorite wrestlers gets crowned. The international mogul will be born today. I see we got some other shit on the docket, shit people don't care about, like MJF's next opponent. Who gives a fuck, my nigga? But another one of my favorite wrestlers, Mercedes Moné, is in talks with TK. A lot of big business going on right now, man. A lot of big business. Let's get this done. Don't
moving parts.
Tony Khan.
Good stuff. Charlie, how are you doing today on this fine Wednesday evening?
Doing good. Just had a fun weekend in Eindhoven, and I've just been catching up with family again since I got back. But yeah, it's been all right. Happy
days. Joe Hulbert, the veteran professional. How are you doing on this Wednesday evening, mate?
I'm tremendous. It feels like, it's a quiet week, and I enjoy quiet weeks. Is where I can, delve into 2010 TNA or watch some kind of, whole shit.
I've been known for that,
Yeah, watch some NXT Black and Gold and tweet about it. No one needs this on their timeline, but I do it anyway because that's
career what I do retrospective on Bobby Roode.
Yep. Little James Storm sprinkled in. It's been. This is the way it should be, brother. Sometimes Monty sends me these lists of matches I'm supposed to have watched, and I'm like, I haven't got the time for this, man. I got to see what's happening on Impact in July 2010. I got to keep up. So I'm good, Monty. How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm not too bad. I had some technical difficulties on the website earlier. The website literally just went down, completely went down out of nowhere. Don't know what happened. Had to do some digging around. Had to ask for some advice off some friends in the community. Shout out Mike from SE Scoops. Very undercover hero in the space, He lays low, he's not one of these website owners with tens of thousands of followers or anything, but he's doing his thing over there at SE Scoops. Very helpful today. But yeah, that took up literally 4 hours from my day. But
you see, Monty's just gonna use this opportunity to put himself over. When I had to boot up the dark web, hit up some Pakistani hackers. Wait. You feel me? I booted up the dark web. I hit up some Pakistani hackers, and I got the job done. Calm $10,000, but money well spent. That's how much I love wrestling.
I'll let the people believe what they want to believe, But yeah, it's been it was almost a nightmare of a day, but we got to the end of it, and we've seen it through. So I'm ready to podcast, as I say. But let's jump into it. I'll start with the thing that AO mentioned. So Sports Illustrated, they had an interview with Tony Khan, and within the interview with Tony Khan, they also included a bit of reporting, and they reported that, according to sources close to Tony Khan, that there has been significant talks between Tony and Mercedes Moné, which of course bodes well for, people's hopes and expectations of seeing her on Forbidden Door, which is coming up pretty soon. Charlie, you're going to be at Forbidden Door, of course. How are you feeling about the chances of seeing Mercedes in a AEW/New Japan ring?
I'm very excited about it. Mercedes is one of the wrestlers that I haven't had a chance to see live yet. She's one of the last people on my bucket list. So that's very exciting for me. I think it will be really cool. And I just hope that if she is able to wrestle, she has a good opponent. But if she's not cleared yet, they shoot the angle to set it up or whatever. It's exciting times. There was a while that we didn't think that this was going to happen. So it's exciting.
Yeah, of course. And, a lot of us, when she got injured, it was it wasn't good stuff, and there was a lot of worries, of course, about whether she's going to be on the upcoming New Japan Stardom pay-per-views, but of course Forbidden Door was the big one, especially for US and European fans anyway. So hopefully she can make the pay-per-view. But even like you said, Charlie, even if she can't wrestle, hopefully she can be in some sort of shape to appear on the show in some capacity, because even that is still a win, you know. Big star, Joe, if she can wrestle, who would you like to see her wrestle?
Put me on the spot with that one, Chief.
I have.
Just like removing all context, because obviously, like, you know, there's like an obvious rematch with Willow, but just as a fan, my favorite match in AEW would probably be her and Riho. I'm aware of that's kind of, you know, not one that's like on the table right now. But if you said to me at any point over the last year when she's a free agent, what would be the number one match? That'd be, I think. But if indeed she's working that show, you would assume she's gonna, you know, get the win back on Willow, right? Would be your guess. So, but I mean, honestly, there's a ton of matches like her and Sheeta, her and Jamie. Obviously, when Jamie's back, whenever that will be, and her and Athena, which was something that her and Ember, like, they did a few like multi-woman matches and stuff. They never really got a chance to have a big-time singles match. So there's a plethora of matches. It's a partnership that always kind of, it felt like it made sense, and that's even more the case now as we have this big, like, you know, summer shows coming up. There's a new TV show, so the talent spread. And you feel like you need star power, you know, and you always need star power, but I think now more than ever, it just makes a lot of sense. So hopefully in some form or fashion, we see, you know, a deal of some kind. It'd be a fun time for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the matches that she could possibly have will all feel very big with just her inclusion in them. So there's a lot of names you can kind of throw into that mix, you know. Ayo, what's your kind of takeaway from these talks that Mercedes allegedly been having with Tony Khan?
I never believed that she wasn't gonna work Actually, yes, I did. Let me not lie. But now I do believe that she will eventually work AEW, whether that be a one-off, whether it be 6 months, whether it be long-term. I don't know. I believe the one-off is definitely going to happen at minimum. Unfortunately, it's probably going to go to the toothpaste merchant. I'm not a Britt Baker hater, but I'm not a Britt Baker lover either. And if we only got Mercedes for a match, I'm not trying to see her in the ring there. But, you know, TK's always thinking box office. So, but Joe also said, you know, she does need her win back against Willow, and she needs her belt. So, we might go that route, but nigga like TK liable to be like, hey, DMD versus Willow, New Japan Strong Women's title. So do that switch and then switch it over at Forbidden Door All In. But we won't see.
It looks like I'm gonna get into
I want to see her fucking wrestle. I would love to see her wrestle with Stat and Athena.
Yeah,
those are probably my 1 and 2. But there's also the Joshi, Sheeta, Emmy, fucking Rio. All those matches would be amazing.
Yeah, the list is very, very long. You know, very long. So
honestly, like, obviously we're in an AEW ring, but if you did her and Athena for the Ring of Honor belt, they would absolutely close that show. Yeah. And like, again, we want her in an AEW ring, obviously, but there would be an appeal to how much gravity that match would have in that setting, because it would clearly be the biggest match on the show, I think. Yeah. And like, that could be pretty sweet too. I mean, wherever we get that match, I'm cool with it. Obviously, we'll see.
Might be able to build a similar atmosphere to the first Briscoes FTR match, where like there was that
match, for sure.
You know, clear feeling in the building as soon as that match graphic came up.
There for that match.
Yeah, everyone was just there. Everyone was locked in for that match, and
unfortunately, there was everybody was there for the Briscoes, and there was another team in the ring at that point in time. You know, I contend that dog collar match versus a couple of broomsticks would have been just as good. But you know, I'm just a man with an opinion. Don't pay me any attention.
Well, I'm gonna move to some super chats, and someone has sent a shot at you, and I believe it contains misinformation. If you want to read it out.
Oh, Koofy Snatcher, $5 super chat. Thank you. Under 3 tickets sold for Dynamite tonight. LMAO. Damn, that's mad. Oh, you trying to fuck me, my nigga? You flirting or some shit? Hey, yo, I thought the Elite was needle movers. What happened, LMAO? Yeah, this nigga trying to fuck. Y'all played yourselves. Koofy Snatcher, I'm not interested, first of all, in your sexual advances. Second of all, I get it, bro. There's a lot of wrestling fans. Their only hobby, their only interest, the only thing they pay attention to is professional wrestling, right? But, you know, if you did anything else, you know, paid any attention to anything else, had some other hobbies, you know, put your mind somewhere else other than professional wrestling, you would know that the Denver Nuggets a very, very, very old basketball organization with a very strong fan base is playing in the NBA Finals tonight. And where are they? They're in fucking Colorado, my nigga. All right? So people are going to be home watching their basketball team play in the NBA Finals. All right, Kofi Snatcher? Thank you for the $5. Bitch ass nigga.
Answering and clapping back in a way that only Big AO can in these wrestling podcasts, you know? You don't get this anywhere else. Of course, where are we? Pizza Dog, $1.99. He says, donating because Ibu losing his job over Cody. I mean, we got to build up the fund for him, man. He's
Yeah, man.
Went into business for himself, brother. You know, he puts all of our
this
paychecks.
Is what he said to him backstage, bro. It's like Joe said, you got to honor your stipulations, bro. You know, you can't go back on your word. You know, it doesn't look like Cody's winning a big one at SummerSlam, and as some of you may know, he did say he would retire if that did not happen a couple months ago. So,
think about me, Monty, and you know this. If there's one thing I would never do, is retire and go back on it. That's one line I will not cross. Right, so I'll be making sure that stipulation is fulfilled to its maximum.
Deep cut, you know.
He makes these grand proclamations about what will and what will not happen, and it always comes back to embarrass him. We try to tell him, it's like, bro, you can simply just not talk like this. No one's making you. But he just feels like he has to, bro. And he just gets embarrassed time after time after time again. Is he going to learn his lesson from this retirement gamble? No, he's not. He's going to say something stupid later, bro. And only in fashion evil can.
Mm-hmm. He's a interesting guy, that Uber Wrestle Purist / Backle Pangman / whatever you people call him, you know. Average and Biscuit Enjoyer, £4.99. Appreciate you very much. Goofy Snatcher again. Make sure this $5 goes specifically to little AO so he can buy some Kleenex to wipe his tears over Elite, not being them. Respect Big Phil the Messiah.
Bro, the Elite aren't
this is
booked, my nigga. Why are you on my dick? The Elite can't
get into some numbers.
He's again.
They're not even
on the
again. Thank you for the money.
Another one, $5. We on your neck all summer, little AO, until you kiss the ring. Use this $5 to buy a ticket tonight to Dynamite and donate it to Seat Filler.
I'm gonna use that $5 to take your mother out, my nigga. We're gonna have a nice dinner in the movie. You feel me? We're gonna sneak. We're gonna go to hit the McDonald's dollar menu. I'm gonna get that bitch 2 McChickens, my nigga, and we're gonna sneak in the movie theater. On me, because I'm a fucking gentleman like that.
More wild super chats coming in. Emzadong, $5. This is what Ibi deserves for embracing the American imperialist merchant Cody Rhodes. We really do get some wild super chats.
Is Russell Pierce friends with the CCP?
Anyway, bam, $2. What does Chris know? I don't know. As far as I'm aware, he doesn't know anything. I don't know. I've not actually spoken to him today.
Question, or something happened specifically?
I don't know. If he's hinting at anything, he shouldn't be doing that, even if he does know anything. So you know, I don't know. He's my actual honest answer to it.
There was a concerning situation on the timeline earlier today with one Chris O'Brien. A woman accused Zion Williamson of potentially getting her pregnant, and Chris tweeted, "I know he had you screaming," and you know it sent the timeline in a bit of a tizzy. So maybe that's what Bam's referring to. Maybe that's what Chris.
Maybe
that was.
He's an interesting follow, look kid. You know. Interesting.
AO said there was a predicament earlier with Chris. A woman accused, and I was like, huh? What happened? I was very concerned when we were headed there. I mean, where we ended up was, you know, nonetheless, we'll proceed.
Oh,
Ricky Starks.
Richard Starks. I wish I could tell you good luck tonight, but I need Jay Whitehall going over. Richard, $2 super chat. Kofi Snatcher after AO like Ibu is after me. Giggle emoji. Thank you for the $2, Rashard.
I appreciate that you read the emoji like that.
just for the community members and
Yeah.
supporters at home that maybe watching this off wherever the fuck we.
Amy Winehouse, $2. Interesting. Chris should have gone to rehab, but he said no. Very interesting super chat.
There's a list out there somewhere
I
of
love that song you got with Nas.
folks that we do not expect to be referenced in the Recipe chat, and that list is getting thin, bro. I'm telling you, like you're scrubbing names every week at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I would say let's rein it in, but it would ruin a lot of the jokes, Can't.
Look, bro, we just stole like
the
15
people
minutes of
spoken,
podcast. I ain't even taken a bump yet. Hey, I got us through 15 minutes. I said, good lord. This is
all right, so like I said, Tony Khan, he did an interview with Sports Illustrated, and that's what included that report as well. But he also, there was an interview, so he mentioned a few things, specifically Forbidden Door, and he acknowledged that there was a lot of injuries and a lot of obstacles with last year's Forbidden Door when putting the card together. And he went out on a limb and he said that he feels like this will be the best event. This upcoming Forbidden Door will be the best event that either company's ever put on, which is, they're off to a good start with the two first announcements, so, really good stuff. Obviously, he believes in it. It seems like they are going to go, balls to the wall with this one, they're going for it, which isn't a surprise to anyone. Is there any sort of like matches that you guys are kind of dying to see that aren't the announced two already?
Yes.
This
is not breaking news or anything. Everyone has suggested this, but we do need Darby Allin, Hiromu Takahashi. Like that's, we've been talking about this for years now. That needs to be on there. For me, anyway. I mean, no, it doesn't. I'm lying. I'm fine. Honestly, the card is just multi-man. You can't be performative, right? Like, let's be real. If the card is just multi-man tags for the rest of it, like, you're already golden here. I mean, the top two matches are the draw. Like, but as a fan, I would certainly like that one. It seems like we may get Joe and Zach, because that's been like built on Ring of Honor TV. That might be for Death Before Dishonor, though. I don't know. So
no, Death Before Dishonor is running against the G1.
You're right. Yes, that must be on Forbidden Door, right? Must be.
So it's probably going to be Forbidden Door.
Yeah. So that'll be fun.
I've wanted Shingo versus Eddie for ages now, but now that looks like that could be a G1 match if they're in the same bracket. I want El Desperado to be on the card just because I'm a really big Despy fan and I really want to see him live. I don't care who he's against as long as it's not a shitter. So I've pitched Orange Cassidy for ages, but they were shooting the thing with Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr., so now I don't know who's going to be facing who.
I don't know.
I need that Shingo Hangman match.
Yeah, Shingo Hangman is one that I really want.
We got any room for Stinger on this card?
There's always room for Sting, bro.
Last
year's multi-man on Forbidden Door was
incredible. It was so good. It was so good.
The reaction when he did the super kick no sell, the place went. I mean, the crowd was great last year, but that was an incredible moment. So
that's just another feather in the Young Bucks cap.
Yeah,
being the greatest tag team of all time, bro. I'm not even memeing right now. Like they made Sting look amazing. In that
I agree.
Match.
Absolutely.
What'd you do with the Bucks this year?
What do we do?
Who do you have them face? Do you do a 6-man with like Hangman? Probably, or something?
Yeah. I'm in on the Hangman singles that I was suggested, but you probably do a 6-man with Hangman. I would guess.
LIJ.
Yeah, I'd be with that.
The only thing I'm slightly concerned about on this show is like the potential Bullet Club Civil War shit. Like, I'm sure it'll be fine, but like, I don't really,
That's
That's fine. And you know what? Because you're there, Charlie, I hope you get that and you enjoy it thoroughly. But
I will. There's no doubt about it.
Dave Finlay leading a 6-man is not going to get me fired up. I'm sorry to say, but we'll, it's fine.
It'll be alright.
It's something for everyone, It's something for everyone.
Yeah, right. Show. It's a
right. Finlay have just wrestled each other so many times, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to see another match ever.
They may have wrestled each other a lot of times, but I've never been there for one. So.
Oh my God. Chuck, I'm gonna need you to composure, please.
Listen, man.
Get it together,
I think they're neat.
Also, Tony Khan said in the Sports Illustrated interview that Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav asked specifically for more AEW, So that was kind of like the birth child and start of AEW Collision. It seems it was kind of one of those things where it was pitched to them, and they came up with Collision, and Punk coming back, etc., etc. Of course, I'm sure that the executives wanted Punk back because they because of course he's a big name. You want all your big names on your roster and active on your TV network.
Yeah.
Tony Khan also said that Punk's an important part of the company, which is obviously one of the first times he's spoke about him. So, what else has he said? What was somewhat interesting? He spoke about his relationship with Bryan Danielson, since it's been reported that he's joining AEW Collision Creative. He said he's got a close relationship with Bryan, a great relationship, great working relationship, etc., etc. Seems like that's going to work out pretty well. I'm not sure if you guys have seen any quotes from the interview or anything, but does any of that stuff interest you at all? I'll go to you, Mr. Hulbert, as you put your glass down.
Thank you, appreciate that. Does any? Not really. I mean, it's good, isn't it? It's good stuff. I mean,
it's positive stuff.
Give it a couple of years, it will be just the Turner networks will just be fucking. It was 7 nights a week of AEW. Tony will have like 8 different notepads that he shuffles through, and look, it's an incredible time for that company to have like that much faith in them from the broadcaster, and like actual desperation for more of it is incredible. We'll see its effect on the product. I'm actually kind of bullish at this point that the brand split will be a good thing. Before we kind of knew what this was going to be, I was worried, and we talked about it on the shows, right? Like I don't know if this is the time Tony needs to add another 2 hours, but we'll see how it goes. Like whatever happens with the quality of the show, I think it goes without saying, it's like incredible success at this point in the game. Well, 4 years, just not even 4 years removed from their TV debut. Like it's amazing. I've said this a million times. It's worth reiterating. Like it's easy to forget what people's expectations were for this promotion when it came to be. I remember I saw those conversations, like it was not, people were not saying, yeah, give them 4 years, they'll have 3 TV shows. Like that was not where we saw this thing going. So it's awesome. The Danielson thing is kind of, you kind of figured out from what Brian said. And yes, his quote about CM Punk being important is, a very safe and steady start to this public, relationship again. So yeah, all good shit.
Yeah, man, good stuff. Of course, AEW Collision, sticking on the subject of AEW Collision, we'd be kind of missing out not talking about the recent ticket sale news that's been going around the past week or so. So the update, I think, for the June 17th debut, the last report from WrestleTix was around 8,000 people. Of course, I think the setup is for 10,000 people. I think a sellout for wrestling in the United Center is about 14. I think that's what they've done for the first dance, around 14k. So it's not the same as the comeback after 8 years or however long, but 8,000 people is still it's not insane. It's definitely a very strong number. It's still 8,000 people. But like it's not the 40. It's not the same as the first dance, and of course I don't think it was so a lot of people expected it to be Ibu specifically. expected the sellout, at first, and then but it doesn't it doesn't surprise me that it kind of falls somewhere in the middle, where it's still a strong number, but it's not quite the record setting, and all this and that. And also with Collision ticket sales, apparently, even though I haven't seen any numbers from WrestleTix, because I don't think they've done the update just yet. But apparently, outside of Chicago, according to Dave Meltzer, the tickets are not selling too well. Ayo, I know you've been very happy about this.
Man, people have had enough. All right, they want to get all the scumbags out of wrestling, and it starts with Illinois Felipe himself, number 2 on the FBI's most wanted list. All right, who could have imagined that a branch of All Elite Wrestling would struggle when the person who's supposed to lead that branch has insulted the elite time after time again? The people have had enough, Monty. We're putting our foot down. We're not supporting Collision. Football on Saturdays. You feel me? And this is a match I really want to
you
see.
made your stance very early on. Do you think what sort of ticket sales are we expecting for these weekly tapings, Joe?
I don't
What's
know.
your
Damn,
early estimate?
You know this because we talked about it at length and probably at times on the shows, but like I'm not surprised at all they're struggling because it's like it doesn't feel like the promotion in general is like red hot necessarily domestically, and trying to get people to go on a Saturday night. I think it was always going to be a challenge. I think they should probably try and pass the 1,000 mark. That'd be a nice start. And the one in Canada, I think, is still below that as far as I know. So I think the other factor here is beyond Punk and beyond any of this stuff is they need to convince the audience that Collision is going to be like an A show. And you could say what you want in press releases and on posters, but there's a certain audience expectation that's come with what happened to Rampage, right? When Rampage started, there was a whole lot of ballyhoo and there was a whole lot of excitement, and they had this big match to begin with and a couple big matches, and it's become what it's become, and that's fine. But inevitably, the audience is going to kind of have a reluctance, I think. And the way they do their kind of touring in general, I'm not an expert on the matter. I'm sure they have someone who's very qualified, employed in that role. I've always found it to be slightly puzzling from the outside looking in, personally. I don't know where you guys stand on that, but it's always looked slightly weird.
Absolutely.
Me
and Manny have gone back and forth on this. You was there, yeah.
I'm sure I was. I do a lot of these now.
You've done a lot of hours,
But so yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised he's struggling. I think anyone expecting the Chicago to sell out again, it just never felt that way to me. I think the house they got is pretty good. The biggest thing is they need to shoot some angles and get some red hot business going on and make people want to go to Collision. That's the key. That's the most important thing beyond any individual. You have to do some. You have to get them in, bro. You have to shoot some angles. Get some guys over.
Yeah, it definitely seems like something where it's going to have to be like a show that they build. They're not just going to come in and be doing But I do think there's an opportunity for them to actually build up like a really good 2-hour show. That feels different to Dynamite and is but good, but different good. But yeah, like I said, I think it'll be more of like a project. I don't think they'll be like hitting the ground flying, not one of those things. Charlie, where do you see Collision's success going?
I mean, as a fan of AEW in general, I hope it succeeds in the long run. But it's like
traitor.
That's why I paused, because I knew that was coming. But it's like they're trying to get these ticket sales up off the back of nothing but CM Punk at the moment, and say think what you want about him, but no one person is enough star power to move so many tickets for a show these days. It's not just a CM Punk thing, it's a thing in all of wrestling. There's very few wrestlers you could put on a poster and that would be a big draw. Mercedes Moné is one of the only other people.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes is one of them. We've seen it in WWE with him. But I hope they succeed with it and it becomes what they want it to. But right now I'm a little bit I'm interested in the fact that they went with a Saturday, because wrestling on a Saturday it's not what it used to be, because wrestling's not what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they succeed, but I'm cautious in my
That's the pivotal point from Charlie. It is definitely an era of the brand and the promotion being the draw for the most part. And again, there are exceptions. Clearly, Roman Reigns has become an exception, and Cody is an exception. But generally, that is kind of how things have been for the last decade. That was the way with TNA, right? TNA could sign anyone. When they were in TNA would have to be the draw, and very seldom was the draw. And I think there's truth to that, certainly. I would say also, some of the names on the Collision poster, they may pop folks in the circle. It's it's cool to have, Andrade back or whatever, but a lot of the folks are going to be buying tickets to these shows. These guys have not been on the show. When they were on the show, they were kind of floating around, right? It's not like Andrade was the world's champion and has been away for a year. It's he's been away, and before he was kind of aimless anyway. So it's some of the guys who may make me pop and say I'm excited for Collision may not do that for the ticket buyers. So they need to move on that front too and get some of those guys in a better spot when they get back. So it'll be interesting what they do.
Yeah, it will definitely be interesting to see if they can pick it up, because I think Charlie mentioned they need to shoot some angles and stuff, man. You need to do some stuff, and you can't just rely on being Punk's back, and you got to hit the ground running with that first show. It needs to be a hit, and it needs to give people reasons to see feuds that they want to pay tickets to go and see, you know, and there's definitely a challenge ahead, but we'll see how they get on with it. All
Sean
right,
Ross
so
said
go
that
on.
all WWE's like record gates for like these pay-per-views that are like breaking records. Like even when Vince was there, it was all because they switched them from Sunday to Saturday. So again, that gave me a little bit of pause, bro. I thought the collision tickets would be ticketing a little bit better than they are, but some people are them and some people aren't. And CM Punk just came to our house nowadays. It's sad to see what happens to our heroes once they get old in age. They start acting erratically. Their star power dwindles. They just become deeply insecure about probably the greatest wrestling act of all time, just existing in his orbit. Punk got injured 2 matches in a row, basically. Two matches in a row. And then he just sees the god of professional wrestling, Kenny Omega, just return. He just sees the best tag team of all time, the Young Bucks, just doing their thing. And it angers him, bro. It makes him upset. It makes him irate. It makes him irrational. And he does things that maybe he didn't mean at the time. But insecurity's a bitch.
Quite the tangent.
That is my answer to collision ticket sales.
Let's start him with like analysis of. Let's start him with like numbers of Saturday wrestling, and it was like this, kind of WrestleTix equivalent, and then it just went off, and it's further and further.
I will say the Toronto ticket sales are really baffling because they're literally in town for Forbidden Door that weekend. So you would have thought that show in particular would have like skyrocketed because people are going to already be in Toronto.
Expensive, I guess, right? That's my assumption.
Oh my god, it's
I'm sure
crazy.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked at tickets. I haven't bought any yet, but I'll probably go.
You'll be there, Charlie.
Listen,
come on.
If I'm in town,
We all
I'm
know
probably
what you're about, Charlie.
It's different if you're traveling to the show too, right? Like it's very different. I get it completely.
I've already paid for the flights. If I'm going to be there, I might as well do something on the Saturday.
Exactly.
We're not,
you wouldn't miss it.
As Brits, we're not exactly experts on this now. Maybe you can help us on this front, but there has definitely been a conversation that the ticket prices have gone up in general, right, for these shows. That seems to be what I read a lot online. Is that the case, though, as far as you know?
I don't know. I generally don't know. Last AEW show I went to was 2022. Reasonably priced, but
I will say
I don't know if the prices changed.
Collision tickets for Toronto are more expensive than what I paid for Revolution and Dynamite and Rampage.
That's insane because why? It's a TV. Why?
Like the ones that I were looking at, they were like floor seats, and where I was sat wasn't floor seats. But it's like there was the fact that they were so much more expensive. They were like $50 more expensive, just like to be on the floor. I was like, what the fuck?
No idea. That's weird.
Yeah, it's a load. When it comes to ticket sales, it's always a lot of factors. It's the way the tour, the cities they choose to go into, and when the ticket prices, like we mentioned, the angles, the stars on the show, the way that they're promoted, etc., etc., etc. But it does seem like they did. They put quite a lot of chips on CM Punk just selling 4,000 tickets in multiple cities. But like I said, there's still time for them to actually, the show hasn't actually started yet. So if I hit a home run in the first episode and people get excited about seeing new faces that they haven't seen in a while, obviously with Punk coming back, if they hit the ground running with him as well, they might be able to get something going, and then we can we'll revisit this conversation. But,
especially with Toronto, because like there's always a chance that New Japan talent are going to be on that show because it is the literal go home show for Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
and I don't think people have really put those dots together yet, so they need to market that because I think that would improve ticket sales as well.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, to be honest. There's loads of ways that you can sell wrestling tickets. It's just about figuring out the right ways to do it. Like I said, we'll revisit this conversation after June 17th, see how we're feeling. But moving to a more of a somber note, former WWE World Champion and Hall of Famer Iron Sheik has passed away today, aged 81. his peak will be mostly remembered as in the 80s when he was like a big part of basically creating Hulk Hogan as like a mega star, by playing like the foreign heel. He was also a hilarious shoot interview and a huge personality inside and outside of the ring. Truly one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time, genuinely. A name known by generations of wrestling fans that never even got the chance to see him live, So, of course, condolences to his loved ones. And, like I said, more of a somber note. But, Joe, do you have any sort of favourite memories of Iron Sheik in the ring, or maybe a shoot interview, or,
Right.
something wild that he may have said, or something, or something?
I think,
very iconic.
Yeah, and it goes without saying he's one of one, right? Like a totally
Yeah.
singular personality and unique character in wrestling history. And it's always sad when you lose one of those guys. I think, firstly, from a match point of view, I don't think anyone ever accused Sheik of being, a mat technician. But if you've never seen it, I think it's worth every wrestling fan checking out the boot camp match with Slaughter. That's like a classic professional wrestling match, and it was so far ahead of its time that it plays great today, which is very rare you can say about a match from that era. From that particular territory anyway. And I would say that just a tale that has always popped me was the story of, someone in the WCW office having to inform Sheiky that he had failed his drug test, and they told him he'd tested positive. And Sheik triumphantly said, "Of course, I've never been happier. I'm in a great mood. I told you I was positive." And they were not, that was not the response they were expecting from Sheik. But there's a million tales, man. And as you said, he's one of the great shooting of you guys. For me as a fan, I'm more familiar with that part of his career, I guess, and life. I think a lot of us are, right? But he's one of one, and it's always sad when you lose like a truly singular character in the history of the industry. There will not be another Iron Sheik, I can assure you. Like you can put the gimmick on, you can put the name in. No, that thing's one of one. It's one of one. So legend for sure.
When I was kind of having a look at, a little dive into his career earlier on when the news came out, you mentioned that he's, of course, not known for his being like the star ratings wrestler, of course. But I did see a funny accomplishment. In 1980, he won the Wrestling Observer newsletter Most Underrated Wrestler. I don't know, mate.
Awesome.
It's kind of popped me, But yeah, we had a very long career, very iconic, unique, one of one, as Joe said. Charlie, of course, I'm not sure how much. Well, where's she gone?
We've lost.
I had a different tab. I don't like this camera angle either.
It's terrifying. It was terrifying. I didn't want to cut you off, but it was horrible. Bro, my skin is not good enough for that shit. I was like, yeah.
It's scary stuff, man. It's scary stuff. Yeah. I don't know. All right, I'll throw it to you. I'm not sure about you. I'm not sure if you,
I don't know much about the Iron Sheik. Rest in peace, though, to a legend, of course. I don't think I've ever seen any matches, but I've definitely seen the shoot interviews. His Twitter always pops me, even though it wasn't him. But just imagine, and it wouldn't be funny what they were tweeting.
It's the idea of it.
The Iron Sheik saying it, right? Like, it wouldn't be. So you imagine him coming out of his mouth and stuff. It's a credence to him and the work that he put in and shit. Rest in peace to a legend.
Absolutely. Chucky is back. She is back indeed. She's been added. I had a different tab open, Charlie, and I didn't realise you weren't there, and I threw you the ball, and you just wasn't there. You wasn't there.
My Wi-Fi dropped out. I don't know what just happened.
But yeah, have you got
all my shit froze? What are we talking about?
We are talking about the Iron Sheik's unfortunate passing. If you'd like to say a word or two.
I'm not really familiar with his work. Like, I've gone back and watched old stuff of his and a lot of his shoot interviews because, like, you hear about him and how funny they were and just how much of a character he was. But it's like he was a legend in the business, and it's always sad to lose people like him, especially ones that like you never really heard anything bad about them. They were always just someone that was so respected in the business. So sad day.
Yeah, there's been a lot of there's been a lot of tributes outpouring. Like I said, he's truly is one of the most iconic wrestlers. Like I said, and what's been evident not here, it's like his legend has spanned across many generations towards fans that even didn't get the chance to see him live, like many of us didn't. So yeah, rest in peace again.
It's also, Monty, I'm sorry, we have to know. We do have to give, when talking about great Sheik tales, him showing up for the WrestleMania 17 Gimmick Battle Royal and the finish being Slaughter over and him not being able to go over the top rope, so he won, is one of the greatest professional wrestling tales. And I'm mad at myself not bringing up this. So I had to, because that is getting a WrestleMania win because you can't go over the top rope physically.
Yeah.
That's real graps, like that's as real as it gets. So I had to get it in there. But carry on, Monty, my bad.
Good shit, man. Darren Walker, £5, paying his respect. Rest in peace, Iron Sheik. My favourite moment was when he was on Jerry Springer. What a crazy guy, too. He was something, man. One of one, absolutely. Right, Red Raider Dre, 9.99. Appreciate you very much. Y'all ready for the Crown and Swerve tonight? TK better get this right, or I'll get my homies that likes homies, and it gets it's gonna get wicked. As always, shout out to y'all and the brand as always. Appreciate you, Dre.
Thanks, Dre. Oh, and happy birthday, Dre.
Appreciate you, Dre.
Dre's one of our friends, and it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday to him. Yeah, show him love in the chat. Shout out Dre. Brian Buster 4.99.
Homies that like homies.
Brian Buster 4.99. Leo Rush versus Darby would be good as well. Roddy versus Shingo is something I need booked yesterday.
Oh,
just
he's done something here. There's a lot. There's some real art on this screen here with the super chat. This is special. Roddy and Shingo that's disgusting because they wrestled in. What year was that in Ring of Honor? 2008. Very different men now, Very, very different time. Boys became men, brother. It's time to see who's got the answers. I'm all in on both of those for sure.
That would be then of course Rush versus Darby. Darby is another one of those wrestlers that you can kind of pair up with so many people on that roster. Yeah, you can't really go wrong. And of course, it would be great to see Leo Rush back as well. So,
100%.
Yeah, man, I'm all for it. Custodian, Brian Pillman Jr., 199. Custodian joining Bullet Club. B&G main event, Pillman.
You might get your wish. You never know.
Talk about Bullet Club leader impersonations.
I say we need. Since it looks like Jay White's going to Collision, I think I speak for everyone. I said we need more talent over on Collision of Brian Pillman Jr.'s caliber. You feel me? Just throw them all on TV over there. Give Brian Pillman Jr. a 15-minute promo. Fuck.
No, you are a known big fan, so yeah, I hear you. Max Alfred, $5. Ayo, pass on this message to Chris. If he wants more of my pickles, I'm gonna need a little something in return. Maybe a pickle myself. Wink face.
I'll definitely pass this on to Chris. Shout out to the heavyweight champion in the chat, man. Support the brand.
Phantom FTW, £2. Appreciate ya. Punks to dollar and cents, more like an IOU.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Showtime Spurs, $5. Mark is going to be biggest Collision fan after his Gators start 2-4.
Don't know what that means.
It's college football talk. Florida Gators. They fucking suck.
Well,
Big Ben's 97, $4.99. Punk, Andrade, Miro, BC Gold, Joe eventually Mercedes equals for the hoes. Dark Order and Dark Order Jason equals host scarers. Very spiteful, aggressive.
How about that?
I almost said something. I'm not going to say that actually. Thanks for the super chat.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate the super chat.
Harvey's got real spiteful. We're not going to do that.
You must unleash Charlie's British nature on the podcast. Zayd Natty, $1.99. So much division. Elite, CMFTR, Bloodline, all rule. I actually agreed with you, Zayd. Don't listen to these. Don't listen to these crazy people.
It has to be said that Monty and I we're currently having an extensive negotiation about which We the Ones shirt we're going to buy. That's the point we're at in our lives as friends. Links back and forth. It's a process, and that's the thing about being a fan. You have to take the stuff seriously. I don't want to be. Absolutely. I don't want us to not. If we're going to be a tag team out there, I don't want us to be not matching. I can't have the red and you have the white. We're like dipshits. People be laughing at us. So we're representing the brand. We're going to do it
I think there will be anyway, you know.
Well, yeah,
Anyone,
that's, you know.
the chances are very, 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 very minute. Probably less than 1% chance that anybody who watches these podcasts recognizes us at this show.
You'd
But
be
anybody
surprised. Me and Alexia got recognised at a West Coast Pro show.
My God. That
yeah.
audience, man, that makes more sense, though. You got this Money in the Bank show, and these are the, they ain't firing up WrestlePurist.com. You know, this is a different audience.
You never
you
know.
know? But that's still
different
awesome.
audience, you know.
Very cool.
But in the off chance that anybody did recognise me, Mr. Hulbert here, and they see us in our matching We the One shirts, that's going to be a funny image regardless.
I will say, if you intend to approach me, you better have some money on you. I ain't fucking.
Super chats in real life.
I'm VIP.
I'm one of these mark wrestlers at the airport that fall for the okie doke.
No,
He's
you
running
can't
the
go up
business
to me
here.
with a Funko Pop. You know, I'm not signing it. You know?
Bro, if
You
you
can't
come
me
up
some
to
money.
Joe Holbert with merchandise and a pen, a $20 bill better be wrapped around that pen. That's all I'm saying.
That's
Get your wallets ready, people. You know,
you heard the man,
ready.
folks. You heard that. As he said, he's just a man with an opinion, and that was the best one yet. Beautiful stuff. Man. I love it. I love it. Okay, what else we got, Monty?
Right. Next up, let's preview this Dynamite, man. Let's do it. It's already been mentioned in a couple of super chats, and we've already mentioned it as well. So we'll start there. We'll start with the AEW International Championship being defended. Orange Cassidy versus Swerve Strickland, and to be honest, it's really starting to feel like the time. Might be the time. Ayo, you're the big Swerve guy on the channel. How you feeling about this big game tonight? You know.
Look, TK, it's gonna get nasty on the timeline if Orange Cassidy goes over tonight. Allegations of racial bias will be thrown about. Title IX violations will be thrown about. Just nasty, nasty things will go from my fingers to my keyboard to Twitter.com. Do not do this, TK. All right? It's time. They're promoting it.
Got a lot riding on this.
Most they've ever promoted international championship match. No matter if it was OC's reign, PAX, whoever the fuck else had the belt.
Just those two.
Who else had it? Just those two? All right.
Those just those
sure. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, man. I think it's time to big title switch tonight. Make a start. There's a lot of ways they can approach this match. They're both very capable of having the moves off, and they're both very capable of doing a lot of psychology shit. Swerve really targeting OC's broken hand. Is it broken in kayfabe or it's just like undisclosed injury?
I think it's undisclosed.
Yeah, his hand is fucked up. Like they might just work the hand and shit, but I don't know, man. I'm excited. Let's get after it.
Good stuff. Yeah, man. Very good stuff. Like I said, it is starting to feel like it's time, And Swerve, of course, has been presented very well recently. He's really he's got the Mogul affiliates, the Mogul Embassy. He's got that now, and it seems like he's finally on the right track, because he came in and he had the tag run, which was good, and then the feud with Keith Lee kind of dragged and kind of didn't, there was on and off, and he's still on and off now, but of course, then with 1, 2, 3 things happened, and now he's finally found himself with the Mogul Embassy and really getting heated up, and he's on a roll as a heel, and and now he's got this title opportunity in front of him. It looks like it's the time. Joe, do you think Swerve walks away with the title in this one?
I do. I don't think you book this match if he's not winning, to be honest. After he fell short in the Battle Royale, I think you only go back to it if he's winning. I actually would go a step further and say that I think he should win quite decisively and in quite violent fashion. I think Orange has been an incredible champion, but the way they've told this story, I've always believed that it should end with it all bottoming out, basically. The idea of it, everything catches up to him, and Swerve is the kind of heel I think you could portray that perfectly. And so I would have it be, sprint is an extreme word, but I think you got to make it very clear coming out of this thing that Swerve killed him. There was no doubt. There was no sense of you can give Orange his hope spots because he deserves that much. But I think you need to really, Swerve's, no one does the talent. Well, Most of us don't doubt the talent, right, Monty? But I think he can leave this thing feeling like a real killer, and he can portray that. You know, we've all seen him be that guy. So I think he's winning, and I would like to see him win in that fashion. But I think he's winning regardless.
Yeah, man. Charlie, where are you at with this match? Where are your expectations falling?
I think Swerve needs to win this match because of the way they built up to it since Double or Nothing, and the way they portrayed it, and the way Swerve's character is just portrayed on TV at the moment. It'd be a huge disservice to both Swerve, Orange Cassidy, and the fans to have him lose this, because the way they've been painting it, it feels like a sure thing. And Orange Cassidy at this point, he's just so beaten up. It doesn't feel like it would be believable to have him win. But I'm excited about it. I love Swerve, and I've been wanting him to have a title in AEW for months now. I was pitching for him to win the TNT belt for a while. I just want gold on him. So I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good time.
Good stuff, man. I think most people expect it to, at the very least, be a great match.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on, we also are getting Blackpool Combat Club versus Chaos, the US version of Chaos with Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, Chucky T, and the Blackpool Combat Club members, of course, Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta. So, man, it looks like this is going to be another really solid, really good Blackpool Combat Club trios match. Charlie, you fired up for this one at all?
Always. I love seeing the Blackpool Combat Club wrestle. I'm excited for Rocky to be back on Dynamite. He's been having a really good year. Yes. He's had a lot of bangers this year. And he's always been a good wrestler. But I feel like he's gone out of his way recently to just really show who he is as a wrestler. And it's definitely paid off because he's been getting people's attention. It being Chaos that they face make a lot of sense, obviously, with the Okada-Bryan match that's happening. Chaos is a group that the Bucks and Kenny have loosely been associated with. They were never properly involved or whatever, but there's a lot of history there for a lot of different people, so it's a good one. They keep going after elite adjacent people, because they did it with Christopher Daniels, they did it with the Lucha Bros, so it's just a common thread through the feud at the moment.
Yeah, they're beating up all the friends, man. It's kind of the run around.
There's also that Yuta and best friends connection that they could go back to during this match. Actually, that's actually one of my favorite storylines involving Yuta, about how he was pissed off. Trent was I never fucking liked you anyway and shit. Chucky T and Orange Cassidy trained him, so he has a lot. He came into the company with those guys, right? And now he left them for, some might say, leveled up and shit. So them going back to that story thread, I think that would be fire. But I like all 6 wrestlers, obviously. It's going to be a good match.
Good time, man. Good time. John, how you feeling?
I'm always thrilled to see Rocky on my television in any way, shape, or form. I maintain that him and Bryan is a forgotten classic Dynamite match, because Bryan had a 4-star match every week for that run, but they had such a sweet match on TV. It's it deserves way more love, but it's just Bryan had too many great matches. We forget some of them. Genuinely what happened, So I always love seeing Rocky, and hopefully we get a little. Him and Claudio can have some really fun exchanges. With Claudio base himself on Rocky stuff, and Rocky will sell some more, because they're going to kick the shit out of Rocky for the bulk of the middle of this match. So I'm always thrilled to see him and everyone here. I mean, this is an easy formula to go to. Blackpool Combat Club in a multi-man tag against good professional wrestlers. This is about as safe a bet as you got in wrestling at the moment. So I'm always excited to see the guys out there doing their thing.
Even if Rocky wasn't on one of the runs of his life right now, I'd say he deserved these matches anyway. People forget Rocky's done a lot for AEW. So throw him on Dynamite every now and then. There is no Forbidden Door without Rocky Romero. So
I agree. Yeah. He's been just, a really positive force overall. I mean, there's any guy who has power in wrestling, there are things that he's done that I don't agree with. Naturally, that's the way it works. But generally, I think he's been a positive force in terms of collaboration. And as you said, he's been very beneficial to AEW. I mean, that goes without saying. So, and beyond any of that, he's damn good still too, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you completely.
He's great, man. As a worker, I think it's very, very slept on. Of course, two out of the 4 people have just made a point of putting him over. So you can't really say he's underrated around here per se. But in general, he definitely is, man. He's just a really good, tight smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Knows what he's doing out there. Really, just very easy to watch. Very good to watch. Of course, the run he's been on this year, the CMLL stuff with Valador Jr. That's been great. He's been great in his appearances of Ring of Honor. He just had that match with Zack Sabre Jr., which was really well worked. Anytime I see him on these New Japan shows in the tag matches, he always plays his part really, really well. Yeah, man, he's just really good. He's not. I'm not saying they should throw the world title on him or anything.
Oh.
He's just.
No international run, maybe.
Him and Roddy for the big one,
I just, he can catch Max in a nice inside cradle, we can see where it goes with it. No, I'm messing, but yeah, absolutely. That'd be something, wouldn't it?
That'd be incredible.
It would be something, definitely. All right, so next match, we've got Jack Perry and Jungle Hook versus Preston Vance and Jalistico. Texas Tornado tag, this one. Could make it a lot of fun, depends. Could be one of those matches where I think, why is this still going? Could be one of those matches and I think, that was a hoot,
Direction.
Yeah.
Anytime Preston Vance is booked, I'm not exactly running to my television set. I like Jalisco more than most. Some people try to pretend like he's a complete shitter. I argue that they weren't actually watching. They just took their favorite Lucha Blog's opinion and ran with it. Hook is good, but what they let him do is very limited at the moment. I'm a Jungle Boy fan. I definitely am. I hope there's an angle here. I hope Jungle Boy drills Hook with that chair. I hope something really interesting happens tonight. I'm not really looking all that forward to the match. So
we will see. And of course, you touched on the potential heel turn from Jack Perry. Hook, you get a decent bit of heat on young Hook, I reckon.
Sure.
I still need to be sold on the idea of Jack Perry being a heel, but I guess the proof will be in the pudding, so we'll see if we get any sort of angle or hints towards that tonight,
Yeah.
All right, moving on again. Chris Statlander, TBS Championship versus Anna JAS.
Speaking of need to be booked.
Chris looked solid in that first match versus Nyla Rose. I appreciate that they're just trying to get her out there working, getting the feel for it again, I guess, and of course she's champion. We want to see titles getting defended, Anna JAS is,
a choice.
People like her, man. So it's like,
I will say, it does feed into the thing of the younger members of JAS are going off and doing their own thing at the moment, because obviously she had that feud with Julia, Sammy had the title match, Daniel Garcia confronted Shibata on Rampage, so there is a running thread with that. I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but that does feed into it.
On the optimistic side,
yes,
they run this match on the weekend at one of the House Rules events that I unsuccessfully petitioned to get a release of. You can still sign up for that. Please do at Joe Holbert on Twitter. But nonetheless, I have not seen one review of the match, which I'm going to take as a positive, and simply say that they must have liked it because they booked it for TV. So hopefully they have something figured out, because, with respect to Anna Jay, I don't think any of us would have named her as oh yeah, do that match next. But they saw it on the weekend, right? So you would assume they had, some kind of positive feeling about it to book it immediately for TV afterwards. So we'll see.
If you ask me one person on the roster to get Anna Jay's best match of her career out of, I would have Statlander pretty high on that list.
Yeah.
But it's just come on, we have a real opportunity to make this a workhorse title. We just don't need don't need the Anna Jays of the world in there right now. You feel me? Maybe down the line when opponents are getting slim. But
get them out of the way, I guess. Yeah. That was a really spiteful way to phrase it, but
that was very British.
It's
I don't mind that, Joe. I don't.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Are you sure, Monty?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sure?
And I'm sticking to it. So moving on. Ricky Starks versus Jay White. Expecting a big impression to be made by Jay White here, to be honest. Feels like it's needed. But yeah, man. I think they'll work a good match. I did enjoy the first one that they did. Hulbert,
Yes, mate.
where you at on Starks versus White, mate?
I'm excited. I was big on the first match, as you know, and that's very much my kind of wrestling, so I liked it very, very much. And I'm intrigued what they do with a sequel. I think there is room to do a more expansive cut on that match. The kind of match we expected them to have at the pay-per-view that just didn't come to be, right, would be the immediate guess. But I also think there's a lot of room to experiment in terms of, the purpose of what you said about this feels like a chance to really announce, okay, he's been here for a couple of months, but now Jay White is truly all elite, and we're going to really get rolling with him as a top guy. So, I think clearly you're not going to do this for both him and Swerve, and that's the choice they're going to make creatively because you're going to want to separate those matches tonally. But I think the same argument I made for Swerve you could make for Jay here, right? The idea that he just, he really comes out looking like a decisive winner. Now, you'd have to frame it differently because of Orange, it's baked in because the point is he's already beaten up.
Yeah.
But you could do something very simple here. It could be a cut-off on the ring post where Ricky gets some juice and you kind of have the deal of like he's fighting to even survive for the rest of the match, And Jay, I think it goes without saying he can play that role. So it feels like one to circle in terms of if the Jay White usage is going to get where everyone wants it to be, tonight's probably going to be a big step in that direction. And my guess is it will be. So I'm excited to see it regardless. I think it'll be a good time.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, I'm with you. Ayo, what are you trying to say in this match?
Some people around here give Rashard Starks a lot of flack, Monty being one of them. A lot of it's just jokes. I think he's a talented.
Hold on.
No, Monty gives him a lot of flack, but I try to be fair. I try to be fair.
What is this, man?
I think these are the type of feuds that he should be having. These aren't the type of feuds that he should be going over in. Though that's where I think me and his fan base kind of clash. I think this could be a good match. Jay needs to win here. Like he needs to win. So I don't think him going over is really. I don't think Ricky going over is really an option. They did that whole somebody's joining the Bullet Club imminently shit today on Fightful Select. So I'm assuming they're gonna get involved with the match. Who it could be, who knows? But I need Jay having the best match of his AEW run here tonight.
We'll see how that goes for you. AEW Collision, Tony Khan will announce the first main event match. I was hoping it's Brian Pillman Jr. versus fucking CM Punk.
That'd be quite the match to come back to, wouldn't it? My God. That'd be interesting.
Punk versus Luchasaurus.
That was smart. It's very smart.
Just to pause us for 1 second. Right, Ayo.
What's up?
Let me have this conversation on the air. Fuck it. Can you see the live chat? Or is it still up to date?
No, I can't see. I haven't been watching the live chat in like
what's going on
in a while. I have to go to the actual what's it called?
I've got it on my phone here because I thought it was just me.
Yeah, I've been like that's why I've been like looking down. I've just been reading the live chat.
Everyone's watching. What's wrong? Everyone's looking like this. They're just like, no, we're trying to read.
Yeah.
It's frozen.
Don't know what's going on downstream. Yeah. Hopefully, I've not missed many super chats or anything because I've seen a couple.
Here's one I saw. Darren said, "I hope Swerve wins tonight." Did we read this one? Or we did we?
No, we didn't.
Sure.
We've missed like the past 20 minutes or so.
I was trying to keep up because I couldn't do it. It was just me. But I know Darren had one here that I've got. It says, "I hope Swerve wins tonight. Starks versus Jay will be good too." And happy Chris Statlander's on tonight, which in the time since then, of course, we've covered. But I think co-sign across the board.
Yeah, definitely.
We have a £5 super chat from, excuse me if I'm butchering your name, Mushin Iqbal Raja. He said, just curious, laugh out loud, who owns WrestlePurist? Love the podcast. Alfred Kunua owns WrestlePurist.
Oh, stop it, man. He's asking genuinely.
There are some people, listen, Mushin, there are some people that will tell you that Monty is the owner of WrestlePurist. Don't believe those people. It is Alfred Kunua. Thank you for the £5.
That is... Listen, people come in here with good faith. They come in the live chat and they send us their hard-earned money, asking a genuine question. They want to know these things.
Answers.
No.
That's what he makes us call him. He makes us call him Boss Man Al.
But any inquiries, Mushin Iqbal, you can any inquiries you can send my way, or Mr. Jamie Ross. He's
he's the real.
he's a big player in the game, CEO, all that good stuff.
Ground operation.
But yeah, anybody that has sent a super chat, and it's not those two that we've just read out in the past 20 minutes or so, just kind of let us know in the live chat again. Now that we know that there's an issue.
Yes.
I thought the live chat just went quiet, and then I realised I couldn't scroll on it
for like the first 5 minutes. I was like, there's no way, bro. There's 200 people in here.
We did that bit about you and I having matching We the One shirts, and there was no reaction in the chat. I was like, good lord, man, tough crowd tonight. I'm
just like, I lost my touch.
I took a back body drop in centre ring. I said, no one's even popping at this shit, man. I'm finished. I was hitting the ropes. I was trying everything I could. I couldn't get them to move, and it was,
But yeah, StreamYard. We always put over StreamYard.
Let me try to refresh and see if it does anything for me. Y'all go ahead.
All right, we may lose AO for a second or two, but hopefully we don't go to that weird setting. Okay, we didn't.
We just got
beautiful. Okay. A few super chats have pulled up. The live chat itself is still frozen. Alfred. Alfred 199 as 51% owner of Wrestle Purist AO. Thank you, King. See, look what he encourages, man.
It does.
Fuck's sake,
He immediately answered the bell for that bit. That's kind of crazy.
The live chat came back.
Devil's Rising £5. Go ahead, Charlie.
It worked a little bit like when I joined after my Wi-Fi dropped, but then it immediately stopped. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I think it's Charlie's fault.
Devil's
Rising, £5. Keep up the great work, guys. Consistent, good content from yourselves. When I'm not streaming on my own wrestling pod, I'm watching you guys. Well, shout out to yourself, Devil's Rising. We appreciate it very, very much.
Bro, next time you give us a super chat, just plug your podcast. Put a thought up.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead. We're all for it. But like I said, if we have missed any super chats, then please do try and let us know any way you can in the live chat ASAP. All right, back to Dynamite after our technical difficulties. I'm getting owned today, Joe. It happens, man, all right. Tony Khan's announcing the main event. What do we think it's going to be, people?
The big man is back.
CMFTR versus
the Wingman.
Well,
CMFTR versus someone. I think the story's only going in one place. CMFTR versus Bull Club Gold. Maybe Joe interrupts at the end. Maybe he's involved in the match. Who knows? That's where the story's headed.
Yeah, I agree. I hope we get if we're going to get some Joe presents tonight, I hope we get like one of those hilarious shirts that he'll sometimes wear, and he sweats a lot and cuts a promo and shouts. I hope that's what I'm looking for tonight from Dynamite. Maybe he may just get busted open again too, which is one of my favorite running Joe bits, is when he does a run and he just bleeds for some reason. It's kind of a tradition at this juncture in AEW. So that's what I'm looking for. Give me a cool shirt, a sweaty promo, and a cut on the forehead too, please, from the big man who I think is going to be there tonight. So I think we're going to get a trio, as AO alluded to.
It is a incredible run of getting busted open on run-ins that Samoa Joe is on. It's a good bit. Charlie, is there anything that you're kind of hoping that this main event's going to be, or are you easy?
I don't really care. As long as they announce something and it's a cool match, I'm not really that fussed.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna be there. I ain't gonna be watching it live either, so it don't really affect me.
Why not? You're always
yeah, but it's a Saturday night, and the day after is Father's Day.
You're a student, of course.
I am a student, but I have stuff to do the next day.
Look, man.
No.
Some folks have lives, right? It ain't, it's none of our business.
It's Father's Day, and it's my nephew's birthday. I have priorities.
You have a life, and that, I respect that. Personally, couldn't be me. No, not to have one. I'll be there locked in. So,
I have better things to do on a Saturday.
So if Papa Holbert tells me his father's name, I'm like, listen, bro, Sam Joe's wrestling on a Saturday night wrestling. Oh, what the fuck you want from
He'll
me?
be watching with you.
He probably will be. He should be, frankly. So we'll.
Tell him that he might get some Eddie Kingston at some point.
I can't do that. He lashes out when he doesn't get Eddie Kingston. Very. It's a real thing, every week he asks me just weekly,
About a month to 6 weeks.
Did you tell him about the G1?
Yeah, he was watching when the announcement came, which was quite the moment. He continually asks me if Eddie Kingston's on the Wembley show, and I have no answer on this matter. I don't know what he wants from me at this point. I don't have that kind of insight, but we'll see. Hopefully he is. We'll see.
We'll do the investigation. We'll get back to
we'll try. We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try to get to the bottom of it for Papa Holbert,
Yeah.
Shout out Papa Holbert, man,
I guess so.
All right, a couple of super chats that I'm seeing that I unfortunately can't pull up. Apologies about these technical difficulties that we're experiencing here at WrestlePurity's HQ. All right, Trusted Process 34, $4.99. Appreciate it very much. Punk haters rather see Punk associated parts of the company fail so they get their jokes and agendas off than succeed, which benefits the entire company. Shake my head. Ayo, your response.
Look, if you genuinely believe that I want Collision to fail so badly that it has to be a studio show for the rest of its run, then you're correct. That is what I want. All right? No, I'm just kidding. AEW has a lot of good talent. Punk, inclusion or not, a Collision was going to happen. So that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that just because Punk's going to be included, I want these opportunities taken away from the talent. All right? People work their whole lives to get opportunities like this. I'm not an actual dickhead. I just pretend to be one. You feel me? I don't want Collision to fail. But it doing slightly worse than Dynamite would be great for my agendas.
We need a t-shirt. We need a t-shirt with "I'm not actually a dickhead. I just pretend to be one."
That's WrestlePurity's, bro.
Yeah, we do a good job on this channel, Devil's Rising, £5 again. Appreciate you very much. Got a question for the panel actually. If you could book a best of 7 series, either singles or tag, who do you book and who wins the series? Any era. Well, the any era at the end makes it very difficult.
That makes it
It was
so
hard. Yeah, it was hard enough, but that's real tough.
Kenny Omega versus Kurt Angle. Give it to me. I need the wrestling guy to go over.
That's difficult.
Or Kenny Omega, Eddie Guerrero. Either one.
Oh man.
Either one of those.
Yeah.
Flair Steamboat. No, I'm joking.
I think they tear it up, brother.
Monty's over there. Just give me Stan Hansen versus Walter. Actually, that was, hey man. Actually,
Wait.
I was trying to circle jerk, but that sounds fire actually.
This is a good question because I think there's specific matchups that would actually work in this format too, right? Like there are some matches I would like to see, but like a 7-match series is different to just a one. Like for example, the match you just named would absolutely work best as just a single match, right?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be crazy. With that in mind, no, I can't. This is. I'm struggling here. This is a great question.
I'm gonna say
I really want to respect my own gimmick and work some Roderick Strong in there, but I'm really struggling. I'll be honest with you.
Roderick Strong in a best of 7. That's
Just give
that's
fucking
his own, man.
Just give me Roddy and Flair, man. Fuck it. The chops, they can get me through 4 matches. The other 3 I'll kind of
Holbert special,
Yeah, give me that. Fuck it.
Yeah, I like it, man. Flair's an easy one to slot in, I think. I don't know. Try you could mix in some Kenta, you could mix in some. Who else could we mix in? The all-time workers, obviously, there's Mizawa, Kawada. Obviously, picking out the easy ones when it comes to Japan. Tanner versus Flair could be good shit.
Oh, it'd be great. Yeah, there's a lot of Steamboat actually. A lot of Steamboat for sure.
Yeah.
Try to have a good tag one, Charlie. Have you got? I'm sure you got some good tag ones.
Yeah,
sleeve,
I'm trying to think.
Young Bucks versus
Briscoes Usos.
See that
Just
again?
'cause
That's
he
what
knows.
I would love that as a program, but that program would for sure be best as like a blood feud, right? Like they need to do like a brawl would be the
Yeah.
end game there.
Briscoe's Demolition in the best of
Oh, yeah.
7.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Trying to think of good tag ones.
I didn't want to go for like a really obvious tag one. I was like trying to think of older tag teams that could tear it up with like more modern day tag teams.
I need Bucks versus the Steiners.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
That would be something. That would be crazy because you know that Scott would take their athleticism as a challenge to do some crazy shit, right? You know he would. Like
Scott, 80s Scott Steiner trying to have a match with Young Bucks. He would try to do a Phoenix Splash.
Yeah, 100%.
You would try to get it off.
He'd pull it off.
He used to.
He
used to be able to do the 450, right? And, like, and they kind of stopped him from doing it. And let me tell you something, Matt and Nick Jackson would not have stopped him from doing that move because they'd have absolutely been the ones putting the match together. Because Steiners. I mean, it wasn't scientists in there. They kind of hurled people around. So I think the Bucks would have to come up with the elaborate sequencing. If you give those two guys the physicality of Scott and Rick, figure out what we can do with these two. I know it'd be a hell of a time. So that's a good one for sure.
Absolutely. Mario Judah, 199. He said Omega versus Ivan Koloff. Interesting.
Incredible.
Sounds like real grabs.
It does. It does. For a range
Devil's
of
Rising.
Mm-hmm.
Devil's Rising, who asked the question, £5 says, my tag would be Golden Lovers versus Styles and Daniels. My singles is Naito versus Mr. Perfect. Golden Lovers and Naito win in 4-3 series.
Styles is someone we should have probably talked about, if we're being honest,
Yeah.
There's some matches to do with Styles.
Yeah. Admittedly, I haven't seen a lot of prime Kurt Hennig. What I saw was like his last WWE run where he fucked around with Brock Lesnar and got fired. I need to go back and see his prime shit.
So honestly, it's shorter than because he's such an iconic. Like he's always the guy we saw as like the work rate guy of that era, right? But it's a shorter prime than I think people really like. His actual physical prime to me is AWA. Like he has a match with Bockwinkel that's amazing. Bockwinkel is like 50 at that point. They go 60 minutes. He's incredible. By the time he's Mr. Perfect, he only has a couple years for his back completely fails him, and like after that, he's kind of just making his way through it. So
that's the case with a lot of these.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of these legends, where like, these names, these big names from the generations of yesteryear before this current generation, their primes just weren't as long as the wrestlers that you get these days because that just wasn't how wrestlers worked back then.
I mean, Perfect, he was like best friends with Rude, and Rick Rude had an even shorter prime. I mean, Rick Rude he just became in 1992 was when he truly became like an elite worker in a lot of people's minds, and by 93 his back was done. Like that was just the schedule was such, and the way the guys obviously looked after themselves wasn't ideal. So yes, it is wild because today it feels like the guys live like they just last forever now, right? It's like we were talking about Rocky Romero earlier, and it's like Rocky Romero he's just as smooth as he was in 2006 or whatever. It's outrageous. So yeah.
Thought of another tag one. Kings of Wrestling and the Young Bucks. I just want Claudio and Nick in the ring together. Is what I've come to the conclusion of again. I'll get it.
We'll get the match one day.
We need it, Tony.
Paul taking the Bucks DMs. They're your best friends.
I could just shoot him a message, but look.
Get it done.
Get someone to make you the match graphic and send it over.
Yes. It's alright. Like, I'm going to be in Toronto. Just book it on this Collision. I know you don't want Collision, but it's alright.
Yuzura Hart, $5, says Prime mid-2000s AJ Styles versus 2016 Kenny Omega. Gorillas of Destiny versus Hardys before they were washed.
The 2005 range, the mid-2000s AJ Styles is like an absolute freak of nature. Like he's obviously he still can have good matches, and he was actually like genuinely great up until I'd say 2018 probably was when he stopped being great in my mind. He's still tremendous, obviously, but that version of him was outrageous. He could do anything physically.
Styles and Chris Daniels had so many good matches as it was. You could do a best of 7 with them.
Yeah.
Look,
just a process for
this man had the power to book anything in the world, and he chose for one of the matches to book Tonga Loa. Are we just gonna ignore this?
I was happy to.
I'm gonna be honest, man.
Are we just gonna let this slide, bro?
I immediately went to Roderick Strong, so I wasn't saying shit about anyone's picks.
Look,
I
it's
just let
your
you know.
heart, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. But booking Tonga Loa is crazy.
Sweet theme song, though. Be fair. That's a sweet theme
It
song.
is a fire theme song.
Trust the process 34 4.99. Appreciate it. Forbidden Door predictions for the two matches. I think we will see an AEW guy go over in one and the New Japan in the other. Does Omega win and set up Will winning at All In?
I think Don Callis
like
is going to be involved in the finish of that match. To be honest. But Charlie, you're the expert of law. What do you think on the Kenny Omega part of this?
I feel like Don Callis is definitely going to be a presence there, like you said. I change my mind on who's going to win that match, like, every day. Like, every time I talk about it with someone, I'm just like, yeah, it's like Kenny's going to win. And I'm just like, no, Ospreay might pull it off. I genuinely don't know, which I think is, like, one of the best things about pro wrestling. Even though they are in Canada and, like, it feels like it should be a Kenny win. There's just too many factors to play right now. It'll be good. That's putting it lightly. It's going to be great, but...
Yeah.
I think Kenny's definitely losing. I don't really see a scenario where he does win. Brian and Okada, I go back and forth on every day.
That could be a
Are they
draw.
really gonna let Okada get pinned at Forbidden Door? But then also, I'm just like, they did let Okada go over last year, over Hangman and Adam Cole, and then Jay White won that fucking match. What I'm saying, but still, they gave the New Japan guy the win, the main event, or. What's that the main event? Or the Tanahashi Mox event?
Yeah, Tanahashi Mox.
Okay, yeah. But still, they don't care about pinning Tanahashi. They pin Tanahashi all the fucking time. But they don't pin Okada all the time, which is why the whole Sonata thing was a big deal. But I don't know. Are we just gonna hand over? Is Tony Khan just gonna hand over 2 wins, the 2 biggest matches?
It feels like
it's in the law.
Exactly, and it feels like you'd have to convince him to win that match. You know, like you have to haggle him.
On a personal level, I don't think he really cares about going over. He just wants to wrestle.
What's
Until Brian is winning, he's like, really?
So, are you sure?
Alright, before we get out of here, please like the video.
Yes.
I don't do a good enough job putting it over. Whilst we are streaming, I should probably do like 1 or 2 check-ins to remind everyone, like the video. We have like well over 100 people in here. It's been well over 150, nearly 200 during this stream. We got some great listeners, man. We got some great listeners, and the people come out. Dynamite's about to start shortly, and obviously we're winding down now. So, man, get those likes up because we need it. We appreciate it, and it does help the channel quite a bit. So, get those likes up. Do we have anything else on the agenda before we run out of here? I think we are all good though.
Did we discuss who's next for MJF?
Oh no, we didn't.
No, we didn't. This is what I'm saying. We didn't finish the Dynamite preview.
I don't know where they're going with MJF.
I looked up at the title.
That's what I mean. I knew there was something. We didn't finish because we was talking about Collision for so long.
The live chat.
So who do we actually think's next for MJF?
I don't think it's a New Japan guy. People are like fantasy booking that a lot. I don't think it's going to be a New Japan guy.
I think Adam Cole's going to be in the fall. I think they're going to hold off on Eddie Kingston. I don't know. I don't know who's next.
It's time. Messiah the Backbreaker. We're coming to win it all, folks. We're coming to win.
Hey, man, he's racking up the wins.
And that
I'm with it.
That's not a bad idea, bro. Roddy's been winning matches.
Do you think he'll be on Forbidden Door as well? Since we're kind of talking about, we've got a minute or two to kind of go over this.
Max,
because there's people who think there's he.
I thought you meant Roddy. I was like, oh my hopes.
No, MJF, of course, because he's always. I don't know if it's kayfabe, if it's how he really feels, but he's always kind of like shitting on Japanese wrestling and that, not interested in it. Wasn't on Forbidden Door last year. I believe it was when he was Outlaw.
It was.
Yeah, that's when he ran.
And then obviously this year, similar with like Sonata on the New Japan side, he's the world champion, but you don't really see him fantasy book that much for this show. It's kind of a weird thing. Do we think he'll even be on the card?
No, I don't think he will. I think he'll come out.
It doesn't feel like it. I think that's kind of insane.
What? Yeah, no,
Yeah, I
what
think
the
that's
fuck?
kind of.
What the fuck?
Let him say
Who
New
do you
Japan
even put him
bad,
against?
and then let a fan
Anyone.
favorites music hit and chase him out the ring. You know, he gets his pure bad shit off. The good guys get a W by have a fan favorite chasing him out the ring, and you know everybody wins.
It's just,
It's weird. I don't know.
he's the world champ. You know,
It's just a lot for
He
words.
doesn't like New Japan professional wrestling. He's not gonna work the show.
I don't give a shit.
Get the belt
You
I'm
off
can't even
Tony,
put
I'm
him in a
paying-
multi-man.
Get the belt off
either.
him.
He has no friends, like, in kayfabe. Like,
Someone mentioned someone that could be a cool idea for. It might have been Joe on Monday. A potential MJF opponent on this Forbidden Door gimmick. I don't know. I can't remember. It was someone kind of out left field.
I didn't have any. I've not had any suggestions for this stuff. I know a lot of people talk about Suzuki or Tanahashi because, like, you know, Tanahashi, the bit would be obviously the way he talks about New Japan. Suzuki would be kind of like one of those deals where it's like they're gonna, you know, he's gonna get some justice, some comeuppance, get the shit kicked out of him.
I've seen
I'll be
Naito
honest.
a lot as well.
Yeah, Naito's come up a lot, and like, none of these matches are like I need to see them, but it feels like MJF should probably be on the show. Honestly, and like the idea of paying off this bit of him like not liking it, like who gives a shit? Like really in the grand, who gives a shit about that bit? You know, so whatever, we'll see.
All right, it's 8:00. We got some super chats.
Dynamite starring.
Oh, Devil Rising, another £2. Appreciate you. I hope after Okada versus Brian, Max eats a Rainmaker. That would be fire. Let's see what else is there.
I think that's all.
Yeah, that's it. Okada.
I think we're good, brother. I think we are good. We're good to wrap it up. Right, just before this match gets started, final predictions for MJF's next opponent.
MJF does want to work Ward though, so maybe that. I don't know.
Roddy, locked in.
I still think it might be Cole.
That's a bad idea.
I still think they'll do it.
With the international title belt.
Alright, big business going on over at AEW Dynamite, so we need to get out of here, people. We appreciate everyone who showed up. Please like, subscribe. We appreciate all the super chats as always, and we will catch you tomorrow with the review. Peace.